Alright, well, here we go. Bit more Project Zomboid. Super glad to be back. Well, let's continue. I'll just wait till everything loads up and, yeah. So yeah, last time we killed 3,500 zombies. So that was pretty awesome. Broke the big 500 subscriber milestone. Well played. We looted some townhouse complexes. And that was it. Alright, so I'll wait till this kind of fully loads there and then... Yeah, so, I mean, I'm not sure who's going to be watching this in the future, but whoever's watching it in the very near future, hey, Onzo22. Yeah, so, on Wednesday, I guess it's Saturday now, but on Wednesday, my dad had a stroke, so that really sucked. It's, you know, went from having like, wow, this is such a great day, and everything to, oh shit. You know, life comes at you fast sometimes. Anyway, yeah, he's doing fine. He's recovering faster than we thought. You know, like, when I put out that message on Thursday morning saying, hey, look, I'm not going to be streaming for a while, all this stuff. I really thought it was going to be weeks and weeks of shit going down. Like, I really did. But yeah, they're basically like he's at the point like he went from the emergency to the neurological observation. He's gone from neurological observation to his own room on the neurological floor. So yeah, it's like that was supposed to be about a week, maybe 2 weeks for that to kind of happen. So the fact that we're there after 3 days is fantastic. And yeah. So, anyway, I really thought that I was going to be off for like 2 or 3 weeks. This time I'm only doing like a 2.5 hour stream. Yeah, it's pretty incredible for him to get ready so quickly. So I'm going to be here for 2.5 hours and then I'll take off. But, hey, I figured I want to... I mean, it's weird to say like there's game shape when it comes to streaming, but yeah, when you stop doing it, you lose those, muscles and instincts to it, and yeah. Anyway, that was pretty scary there, and yeah. I guess I'll tell the whole story of kind of what exactly went down, but yeah. So like at about 3 o'clock, you know, I got done streaming and went up and it was like, hey, I got 500 subs. Why is this taking so long? I guess there's all these bodies here. It's just the frame rate has dropped considerably. Wow. Let's look at the big massacre pile. We fill the speed loaders? I think we did. Okay, well, you know what? We'll kill these zombies down here now, I guess. Anyway, and, you know, I was, pretty excited about that, and my dad said, hey, I've got a bad headache, and I'm like, oh, geez. Like, worse than normal? He's like, yeah, it's pretty bad. And I'm like, I know that could be a sign of stroke, so I was like, okay, well, can you lift your arms, up? And, you know, because that's one of the big tests. The other one is, like, is their face, you know, drooping and stuff, and I didn't see any drooping. And then, yeah, sure enough, he lifted his arms up all fine. Yeah, it's a lot better. It's, I mean, not 100%, but it's like, the situation is as good as it can be, given the situation. Anyway, that at about 6, we were... Oh, I didn't know that guy was there. At 6, we were, you know, having supper, and, he was saying he felt really sick and stuff, so he wasn't It wasn't 100%, but yeah. Then when we were, he had a salad, and then after the salad, he's like, "Oh, I should get up and get some supper. Go get some supper." And then kind of was in his armchair and like perched at the edge. And oh, there's the strength thing. Awesome. Yet again. Kind of perched at the edge and all ready to get up for supper, and then he just kind of sat there, and yeah, he's going pretty good. I'm just kind of going through the story of what happened here, so I can kind of direct people to be like, you want to know exactly what happened? This was it. And anyway, so yeah, then he sat there and we're like, "Hey, Dad, you gonna get supper?" "Oh yeah, I'm gonna go get supper." "Okay." Then he sat there for like another 5 or 10 minutes, just like, perched at the edge, like, when you're about to get up from a armchair, like, rather than like sitting back in it and kind of relaxing. And then he, sat there and kind of another 10 minutes. We're like, are you gonna get up and get supper?" It's like, "Oh yeah, I'm getting up to get supper. Just give me a second." "Okay." And then he just kept sitting there. And we're like, are you gonna get up? "Well, here, you want us to take your, plate for salad and fork?" And he's like, "Oh, you can take the plate. I'll keep it." And he was like, no, holding on to the fork. We're like, okay, that's kind of weird, but whatever, Not feeling too good. He's, gonna take his time getting up. And then like another 5 minutes go by and he's still sitting there. We're like, are you gonna get up and get supper or not? He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm getting up to get supper." And then like, are you actually gonna get up, or like, why are you just sitting there? Because you're sitting there like you're about to get up and then you're not doing it, and it's just kind of strange. He's like, "Oh no, I'm gonna get supper. I'm gonna get supper." Okay. So then he sits there again, and we're like, "What's going on?" Dad. So we turn off the TV, and he's like, oh, and then he starts like trying to use the fork like a remote control. Like, why is the TV off? And we're like, what is going on here? This is really weird. So, we're like, we should call an ambulance right now, because, I mean, he hasn't had any, signs of, severe dementia or anything. So like, this is completely bizarre behavior in every way. But it was weird because he sounded like totally coherent when it was like, "Oh no, I'll get up and get supper now. I'll get up and get supper." And anyway, but then yeah, he starts trying to use the fork like a remote control, and we're like, that's just not normal in any way. So yeah, we call the ambulance and we go through the tests of like raising the arms up. I didn't realize like the test for the arms is to raise them out in front of you and hold them there. And people who've had strokes, their arms typically droop or whatever. I thought it was hold them above your head. But yeah, his arms were fine, and then asked him, said, get him to smile for you and see if there's any drooping in the lips. And my grandpa once had a stroke in front of us when I was like, 13 or something. And it was strange because like his lip was drooping, and we're like, "Hey, Grandpa, are you okay?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm fine." We're like, "You look like you've just had a stroke. You need to go to the hospital." He's, "Oh no, I'm fine." We're like, "No, your lip is drooping, Grandpa. You're clearly just had a stroke." Like, and there was no talking about it. But anyway, he went to the hospital, found out he'd previously had 3 strokes and 2 heart attacks, and had just never gone to the hospital for any of it. Anyway. I mean, they were minor, so it's like one of those things, but like, wow, Grandpa, that's pretty tough. Anyway, but yeah, so yeah, with my dad, we called the ambulance, and then we're like, "Yeah, can you stand up?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm getting up," and like, well, you're obviously not getting up, but it was like his brain was stuck on this like weird loop where it was like, "Oh yeah, I'm getting up to go get supper." Like, what else is it? What else am I going to do right now? And we're like, "Well, you can't seem to physically get up here, Dad. Like, it's..." Anyway, so yeah, the ambulance got there, and we had to, help get him up and slide him into a computer chair to get him over to the door. And yeah, it was pretty scary there, because he just I mean, he kept saying, "Oh no, no, everything's fine. Don't worry, anybody. Don't say like I'll just go get supper and stuff." And we had to be like, look, you're not gonna go get supper. You're going to the hospital now. And anyway, got him into the ambulance, and yeah, then went to the emergency department. And we're lucky it was a Wednesday because like right now, the Friday, Saturday emergency department care is very, very spotty here because there's just so much crazy shit going on right now, right? And yeah, they kind of held him in an observation room in the emergency area, and they gave him some. I forget what the medicine's called, but it's a thing that gets rid of clots in your body. The thing is also, if he'd had a brain aneurysm, which was another kind of possibility at the time, the clotting medicine would cause that to bleed far more, and then he'd be in a fair bit of trouble. But if it is a stroke, which it most likely was, it'll clear out the clots so they don't, have serious permanent damage or die from it. Anyway, so yeah, he was in the hospital and kept insisting, "Oh yeah, I'm just about to get up and go to the bathroom now." And we're like, you can't walk. Like, do you not remember like 2 hours ago? And you're like, "Oh no, I'm going to the bathroom." We're like, no, you're not. You're laying in bed. You're in the emergency room. And it was weird because it was like he was there, but he wasn't there. Oh yeah, for sure. I'll teach you all about Project Zomboid right now. That's, escape from reality for me. And yeah, so anyway, we were there with him till about 2, and they got him out of the emergency room, and it was like they tried to do an MRI, but they couldn't see any clots. However, they did what they refer to as a treatment diagnosis, that giving him this clot-busting medication improved his condition. So they're like, okay, yeah, it was a stroke because like this shouldn't have worked. But it's that he also had what's referred to as an absentia seizure, which if you guys have seen the recent videos of Mitch McConnell, the head of the Senate in the States, where he's in the middle of an interview and just shuts up and seems to like not know where he is and stuff, that's a typical absentia seizure. But this one, it was particularly cute. Like, he's never had them before, and it was probably an absentia seizure brought on by a stroke, which or like the same thing caused both. And because people usually remember the strokes, and talking to him on Thursday, he had no idea what happened Wednesday, like at all. Like, had no memory. It was like, I don't know. I woke up today. I'm in the hospital. And anyway, and people apparently that have strokes typically remember like up until the point they collapse that, oh, I was having a stroke, and like I felt something was wrong, and then I couldn't move this part of my body, and so on like that. So. So yeah, the thing about it is, if it was like a massive stroke, it would have been, weeks and weeks of rehab, and he's still probably gonna have to go try rehab, but he's able to like get up and walk, to and from the bathroom and walk around areas, and he's been moved from it's like there's the emergency department and then there's the neurological department, but they have neurological observation where people are under, 24/7 care. There's 4 beds there, and, 2 nurses at all times to, to the just kind of generally being on the neurological floor, which is where he is now. And this change has been over the course of like 2 days or so. But yeah, I mean, I really thought, I'd be like, man, this is going to be a really long process, and things are going to change incredibly, and we're going to have to do all this stuff. And now it's, hey, I'll probably be home in a week, and I mean, like, things are going to change in that, like, he's not going to be able to drive ever, well, probably ever again. Minimum at least the next 6 months, but probably he won't ever be allowed to drive again. Yeah, it was really scary there, and now it's not so scary. Like, it's life comes at you fast, and then yeah, he'll recover fully, and, well, not fully, but compared to how it could have been, which would be, you know, he'd have to be in the hospital for like 2 months or something. It's looking like about a week now, so it's every bit of news we keep getting is good. Like, it's as good as it can be given the situation. So that's like really cool. Anyway, I should have a cigarette in this game because I really need one. Anyway, yeah. Well, it's I just remember being so happy earlier in the day, being like, "Oh man, I got 500 subs. That's a big milestone." Because there's, you know, 2 big milestones in YouTube. One is 500 subs, and the other is 1,000 subs. That's actual kind of metrics that change how your channel's treated by YouTube. And yeah, we made it, and then you know, that happens the same day. It's kind of freaky. Yeah, let's kill these guys here. Let's see how many we can call out of here. We're probably just going to be killing zombies, so we're not going to be able to really loot anything, because I do have a hard noon exit time. And then, yeah, today I'm like, yeah, I'll go on, I'll stream from like 9 to noon. And then I get up and I'm like, why does my clock say 3:40 something? And yeah, we had a brownout last night, so my alarm didn't go off, so I got up pretty late, so I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll start streaming a bit later. But, you know, frankly, missed it. Missed being able to, you know, chit-chat with you guys and play some games for y'all. But other things in life are, I don't want to say more important, but I mean, let's be frank, a bit more important. Okay. It's like, there's a bit in that, Inconvenient Truth Al Gore kind of documentary where he's talking about, like, what it was like having his son get hit by a car and like be in the emergency room, and the way he described it is like, it's amazing how everything on that calendar just flies off. It doesn't matter anymore. And yeah, and it's like all of a sudden nothing that I thought was like really big and important, and you know, don't matter anymore. And yeah, so I'm like, my biggest fear early Wednesday was getting bit by a zombie. And yeah. Anyway, so just gotta say, it's awesome to still have a dad. And I'm really grateful for it. So, yeah, that's news for me. I hope it's hope news is good for you guys too. And thanks for the support and everything, and being here. It's weird. It's like I told you guys that, you know, stuff happened. And like, I mean, it used to be I'd make Facebook posts about that, being like, "Hey, look, here's the situation," blah blah blah. And, yeah, it really isn't craft amount. I don't think I've seen that before. Anyway. Well, what are those? Oh, we got an empty tin can. Okay, we got corpse sickness, so we should probably get out of here pretty soon. We might as well kill a couple more. Okay, so we got a group there. But yeah, I think we pretty much have this area cleared out. I mean, I think this stream we're just going to kind of run around here and kill as many zombies as possible. Kind of continuation of what we were doing last time. Hey, you know, it's 9:40. We should get back. Anyway, yeah, it's good stuff. I had some health scares with my mom, like, you know, 7 or 8 years ago now. That, she had really bad diverticulitis, which is like a inflammation of the intestines. It was like to the point she couldn't actually eat anymore, and they kept saying it was the flu for like a month and a half, 2 months. She ended up losing 50 pounds because she couldn't keep any food down, and then had to go in for surgery and stuff. Anyway, she's fine now, but... See, that was like a, you know, a good 2 or 3 year process going through that. Just all the surgeries and stuff. And, yeah. So. Okay, what is this craft, or whatever? Just keeps saying craft mountain. Or no, place item. Okay, well, let's eat these. Okay, so we got water again. Eating our food. What's our calorie like? Ooh, we're down 700, so we gotta eat 700 more calories somehow. Let's open some pineapple and some chilies. After that, we'll drink some white wine, and that'll make us go to sleep. Anyway, yeah, white wine, right. Yeah, I really thought though, like on Thursday morning there, I'm like, you know, I'm gonna go in and he's gonna be like he was Wednesday, where it was just, I mean, he would say, like, he'd say things articulate and coherent, but they wouldn't make any actual sense. And he would, like, forget what we were talking about after, you know, just a few seconds and stuff. Yeah, I really thought that was going to be the case when I made that post that, like, hey, look, this is going to be a while, and... And, then when we saw him Thursday morning, it was like... I mean, he wasn't quite himself, but he was way better, and, yeah. Jeez, we've eaten 5 tins of stuff and a thing of white wine. Barely back to there. Okay. Well, let's eat some chocolate. Okay. We'll bring the mac and cheese with us. Oh, oh yeah, antidepressants right there. Take those empty bottles and turn them into Molotov cocktails at some point. Okay. So it's 5:20, so we'll probably have a good day or two worth of just killing zombies here ahead of us. So it hasn't rained since we made that. That's kind of epic. I would say 3 more spears. Ah. Anyway, yeah, it's good to get kind of back to it and stuff. Yeah. Once again, probably, you know, gotta say it myself, I probably won't be like 100% like with it for a little bit. Like, I mean, one thing I kind of realized is gotta check my, check myself and see how I'm doing, and, you know, I mean, if I'm not in a talkative mood, streaming gets quite boring. At least I find that when I'm watching somebody stream and I'm in the audience, and, you know, don't want to see somebody stream when they're a big, you know, I guess a grumpy Gus or whatever you want to call him. But, yeah, I figured, hey, I could do like 2.5 hours today. And, ease back into it. Okay, so we got all those guys. Let's go kill guys down south here. Okay. Spearing time. So the other thing I'm kind of worried about here is losing concentration while doing this. And this game is quite unforgiving, where, you know, one mistake and that's it, you know. Okay. Ah. I gotta say, I'm realizing right now that, like, I'm like, yeah, I'll stream and all will be good, but, I mean, frankly, I'm just Not feeling very talkative. All I want to do is like spout off facts and figures I learned about strokes over the last 2 days. And yeah, it's So I said, well, I'll do a short one and see how it goes. And because, you know, hey, you got to be positive and good vibes and stuff like that while you're doing this. And whether I like it or not, I'm not there yet, even though I figured, well, all the news is good, so I could just go do this. And I'll get a nice degree of normalcy back. And where are those guys at exactly? And yeah, it's kind of realizing now, you know, not quite there yet. It's like I saw this one YouTube video once. I forget what the comedian's name is, but it was like he's a stand-up comedian, and he you know, he finally gets to get on Johnny Carson, and that's when his 1-year-old kid gets diagnosed with cancer, and you know, he's like, you know, and I get to go on Johnny Carson, and I go out there and I kill it. I get 3 standing ovations and stuff, and nobody knows just how horrible my life is right then, because, you know, my kid's dying and there's nothing I can do about it. But hey, I get to go be on Johnny Carson, and it was just like one of these. I wish I could find the thing again. I'd definitely link it, but it's one of those things about just how, you know, when life's going good, something like this will happen, and it'll remind you just how much better it was. Like, you know, he didn't care about being on Johnny Carson. He just wanted to be able to hold his kid again, and that was that. He wasn't ever going to be able to, and it was largely about how he just couldn't tell anybody and couldn't, you know, he's a stand-up comedian. He's got to go out there and tell jokes. Nobody wants to hear about this horrible, depressing shit. And so he's just got to act like everything's normal and okay, and how difficult that is. You know, I'm not saying I'm in the same situation, but I'm like, I mean, I wouldn't say go so far as to say as I understand, because I mean, I understand nothing worse than losing your kid. But I get it more now than I did before, where it's like, yeah, I could just go out here and stream and everything will be normal, and no, not happening. Whether you like it or not, I'm only human, and human beings have emotions and moods and feelings and stuff, and there's a line Mr. Rogers had that, you know, the hardest thing to learn how to do is deal with your own emotions. And yeah, I mean, it's good to give me something to distract here, but I'm kind of got to accept I'm not in streaming, I guess, shape right now. And yeah, so hopefully you guys don't mind too much dead air here, because yeah, I just don't feel talkative, and for me, you know, I was thinking, oh yeah, I'll get into this, and it'll be like, you know, oh, there you go. It'll be like, you know, slipping into an old pair of shoes kind of thing, and yeah, ain't quite that. Oh yeah, we got the motorcycle there. Free spear. Scissors. No, I don't want that though. That'll break in no time. Okay, well. I think we've killed probably, what, 200 or 300 zombies already, so. We are gonna have this whole area cleared out. Not too much longer. We were thinking, like, this character has now killed more zombies than all the other characters we've had on this playthrough combined. And almost all those zombies are here in March Ridge. Maybe 1 or 2 dozen outside of March Ridge. And, I think we brought a battery for that, too. Oh, there's our old bike. Huh. Oh, I'm gonna lure a bunch of zombies over here. Yeah, it's, yeah. Well, you know, it's, like, crazy, because, like, my dad's never actually been stuck in a hospital before. Like, it's... I mean, outside of, like, getting his tonsils out when he was, like, 6 or 7. You know, he's, like, 75 now, so... It's kind of a different experience for him. Oh, shit. Whoa! That was a close one. Okay. Oh. But yeah, it's, oh. We could just dump more broken spears there. Oh, and now we're hungry, so we'll eat that mac and cheese we brought with us. And we'll get back to killing zombies. Yeah. Well, you know, like my grandpa ended up dying from like vascular dementia and stuff, and I mean it's like apparently that can you know, present the way that it did with my dad there, and it's like, you know, vascular dementia kind of runs in, I mean, it's genetic, right? It's basically, yeah, your blood vessels to your brain end up getting too small as you get older, and the result is you start getting slower and slower, and oh, with him, I remember my parents went out to the coast, because he lives in Victoria, right? So they drove out there to visit him and stuff, and when they got there, they're like, hey, how's it going? And he's, oh, I'm good. And basically he was not good at all. They realized, like, he'd peed himself and stuff and been sitting in this chair for 2 days. And I mean, the home care nurse had been there like 3 days earlier, but you know, they were only coming by once a week at the time. Anyway, and he had a bad bladder infection that led to this vascular dementia stuff. And it's to the point that, like, if my parents hadn't happened to be going out there to visit him at that exact time, he would have been found, you know, 3 or 4 days later dead. Anyway, so he ended up living, but hearing the kind of stories of, I mean, he lived for about another year, but when they were talking about how, like, he didn't understand reality because, you know, my sister and I were like, oh, well, let's talk to Grandpa, and they're like, no, don't talk to Grandpa. We're like, what do you mean, don't talk to Grandpa? He's sick. Like, he won't know who you are. He thinks it's the mid-70s. He keeps asking about his mom, who died before I was even born. Like, it's... he thinks he's in a different city than he's in, and, like, they're like, he's not himself anymore. He doesn't know what's going on, and he won't know you, and You won't be able to have an actual conversation with him or anything. It'll just, yeah. Remember him how he was. And I remember my sister and I being like, oh, come on, you know, let us talk to him. But our parents were like, no, just trust us. You don't want to. You know, we were there with him for a few days, and yeah, they're basically, he's not there. It's just some shell that was him with a couple of his memories walking around now. And yeah, and so I mean, for me, since that, you know, dementia's actually quite scared me. Because it's like, hey, this stuff's genetic, so I'll, you know, unfortunately, I'll likely have it. For me, I've gotten ocular migraines before, which is like a bad migraine headache where you can't see properly. But for me, it's I can't see properly out of my right eye. I get weird tunnel vision with it, which, the way to describe it is it's either I have peripheral vision or I have the vision in front of me, but I don't have both. So it's like, for me, I was like trying to look at my hand while writing, and it was like I could see my hand like exactly on the paper, but everything around it was blurry. And anyway, this happened twice, which actually had to do with the weather. So it's like I'm apparently a guru that can predict when a storm's coming based on whether or not I can see properly out of my right eye. Because apparently that was the thing at one point, and that's how old-timey medicine men would know that something's going on. Okay, so that gunshot really lured a bunch away here. That's why there's no zombies here anymore. At least compared to how many there should be, right? So there's a gunshot, pulled a few away, and yeah, anyway, so ocular migraines, I think, give me a 3 times or 4 times risk of having strokes at some point in my life. Oh. You scared me. So, hey, you know, it's something I've always thought I'd have to deal with myself and not, you know, not have other people have to deal with. And, the other thing that's kind of came up for me was, like, I used to work in a car parts warehouse. Moving stuff around all the time. And I'd pick up, you know, 120, 130 pound starters like it was nothing, 150 pound reels of like tubing. I mean, it was a bit difficult, but I could generally lift those solo. So when it started hitting 170, 180 pounds, I'd be like, oh, no, I need help here. And we'd team lift. Yeah, like, you know, helping my dad out to the ambulance, I was like, geez, there was a time when I would have been able to probably get you out of here solo, given the circumstances, and I'm just not in good enough shape anymore, so now I'm like, damn, I'm getting back into shape just for this kind of stuff, because I'm like, man, I wish I kind of hadn't let myself get back out of shape. And, you know, just like 4 years ago, or I guess, actually probably 2 to 3 years ago, I'd have been able to get him out of there solo, and, okay, I'm gonna loot it. Going for it. Okay, it's empty again. Holy crap, we're finally in this gas station. Okay, now I'm hearing a bunch of noises there. They're kind of disturbing me. Yeah. Big horde right behind it. Just gotta say, you don't want to fight big hordes indoors, like, ever. It's bad stuff. Where did you come from? Okay. Fuck me. God damn it. Are you kidding me? Please say we didn't just get bit. Oh my god. Oh, that was close. It don't get closer than that. Except maybe right there. That was pretty close too. Okay, this, we're getting too tired for this shit. Oh my god. Wow. Huh. So this is the other thing I was kind of scared of, is like I'm kind of distracted right now and not gonna play this at 100%. I thought I heard somebody coming over there. I really thought we were about to get swarmed there. I only walk out of it with no damage. Is our clothing fine? Our clothing's kind of messed up. So. Oh. Yeah. Okay, wow. I would say that's as close as we come to death with this character. Like, the thing that would really suck about dying down here is that it would mean we like the bus would be stuck down here. We'd have to take a different car down here. And we'd probably have to find, well, I guess the bus has been hot wired, so we don't have keys for it, but so I'm gonna see if we can actually bring the bus in here now. So there are some guys down here. Yeah. All right. Oh. No, yeah, my concentration just is not there for the high level combat. Sometimes that's at least this one guy there. Okay, well. Ah. So those guys are pretty tired now, so we're just gonna have to go back. Oh, we should go grab the, Oh. Wanna have 3 broken spears on us. Oh man, I can't believe how close we were to dying there. That was pretty nuts so far. Let's see how much we can replace our clothing here. Swing off the road. Oh shit. We looted a bunch of the gas station at least. Didn't loot all of it. We get our bike back here, it's gonna be a bit of a hassle. Ah. What we could do is just go through there and use the remains of our bullets on us to kill those zombies. I didn't realize we were down to single loading already. Hey Phil, how's it going? Ooh. Just doing a short stream today. So. We're gonna try to avoid these guys here. I don't want to fall over in a big pile of corpses again. Oh. You can see we ended up losing our other bike up there because there's just too many corpses. Oh! Too many corpses to bike over. Just take our time biking over them. Oh, we're finally getting some of those bodies decomposing. Yeah. Gonna run into that tree there. Okay, let's get out of here. Oh, okay. Well, hey, we looted most of the gas station. We didn't get the cigarettes. Which is a big thing now when you're robbing a gas station. So you might get like $200 or $300 out of the register, but if you take, you know, at least in Canada, if you swipe a few cartons of smokes there, you'll actually get more money out of those. Not that I recommend anybody ever, you know, do that. I just find it kind of funny. That's the most valuable part of stuff in gas stations. Oh, okay. I'm gonna have a quick sip of coffee now. We'll probably be able to do another 1 or 2 expeditions where we kill as many zombies as possible. But yeah, okay, so we got a bunch of stuff to unload here. Good old dehydrated meat stick. Actually, no, we'll put the water bottles there too. Oh yeah, for sure, Bianca. Just give us a few seconds. What happened to the orange soda? Oh, there it is. I'll drink that quickly. Okay, we'll eat that. Eat that. I'll eat the tortilla chips. Okay. So, here's the map. Yeah, no worries. No worries. Want to see the map? There's the map. Yeah, we got over 18,000 zombies killed with this character alone now. And, like, I think the last one was... what, 7,000 or so zombies in here? Like... I mean, it was a lot. So yeah, that's the section there. I mean, we can generally get up to about here, and there's maybe, you know, a half a dozen hordes there now, whereas it used to be, like, just totally impassable. So I feel like we can start moving up, and that's a grocery store there, that's that there. I was thinking we take our bus around over there and drop off one of those generators at the gas station. So that way we can use that whenever we need. I mean, we probably won't need to, but better to have a gas station and not need it than to need a gas station and not have it, right? I feel like we should wait for those bodies to decompose, though, first also, because I don't want to be bouncing around on the bus. I don't think it would tip over or anything, but it could, right? So. Yeah, it is still a long way, but if you think about it, there's roughly 39,000 zombies in this city. And we've killed about... I'm not sure how many on previous characters, because on previous characters we killed about 16,000. And I remember it being just under 10 when we left Rosewood here. And so on this character it's 18,000, so I mean there's roughly, you know, 24 to 25,000 zombies that have been killed in here. Which means, like, there's less zombies in here now than we've already killed with this character, despite it being all this extra room over here. Because this is the main concentration of zombies. But as we were killing them here and setting off sirens and stuff, we were pulling zombies from over here. Over and out of here. A lot of the zombies that are down here are probably zombies that have came out of this area over here for, like, gunshots and stuff. So that's likely what's happened there. So it's like this area will have zombies in it, but this area so far has had about 2/3 of the zombies in the entire city here. So 1/3 spread out amongst this area. It's not, I mean, it's not ideal, but it's not as bad as like this area was for concentration. Because, like, remember, we killed like 8,000 zombies or so just to get down this little road here. Like, that was a pretty insane amount. And yeah, and then as we've been pushing over here, you know, we keep kind of luring groups out here, and well, we lure them from over here, they end up going in the dorm or going in these buildings, and then we have to lure them out of the buildings and kill them, and anyway. So, I mean, there is a lot space-wise, but there shouldn't be as many zombies there. Okay, now, the real question is, okay, so dirty, bloody, this is 2 holes in it. Okay, so the hoodie's still good. You know what? Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna wear that. And we'll wear those. And we'll wear those. And I'll put all these back here. Yeah, well, that's supposed to be a survival house there, and that's supposed to be one there. We didn't find a single survival house in all these homes. That's kind of bizarre. We did find that one shed that had all that ammo in it, though, so that was kind of nice. Anyway. Let us go to sleep. Hmm. And now we're bored. Okay. Okay, so our body's insulated again. Oh, okay. Really wish you could repair the firefighter stuff, but you can't. Well, God, I hate fog. Oh, shit. We have got to do this. Totally forgot to do this yesterday. Put this empty bottle here. Okay. These casings there. All of our speed loaders there, and oh, there's a CP rounds there. All right, now. Yeah, I've kind of got to accept my mind just isn't here right now. I'm playing this game. And, like, I don't think I would have normally almost died there as I did, you know, moments ago. And then I'm, you know, forgetting about bullets and stuff, so. Probably should have just held off coming back to stream for a little bit. And, came back later on. But hey, we're here now, so. Yeah. Ah. We'll grab some more calories before we go. Eat a big old bag of chips. Ah. And how many spears can we grab? So let's grab 5 of those. Oh yeah, no problem. I do feel some peer pressure to, you know, produce content. Largely comes from YouTube. And I know, you know, I'm become part of you guys' lives, and you guys become part of my life, and whatnot. So. Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, frankly, I want shit to take my mind off things, and it was like, I felt like, yeah, I'm on a roll here, you know, let's just keep going, and we'll keep streaming them. Everything will be great. And, then shit happens. And, actually, well... Okay, I think what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna go loot those 7 extra houses that are down here. Just because the fog is so thick, I don't want to be messing around with it. So it's 4 there and 3 there. Okay, well let's hit up the 3 down here first, and then we'll hit up those 4 up there. Once we do that, though, we should also move these trailers up. I'll take that book. Oh, you're over there. Hey, buddy. Yeah. He's doing really good, and yeah, much better than anticipated. So, kind of want to speed this one up, but we did get bit that one way that time, so we'll just have to sit here and do that. Anyway, yeah, I mean, like, we were thinking it was going to be weeks and weeks of all this stuff, and he's... I mean, I don't want to say he's normal again, but it's like he's really close to back to normal. So, I mean, he'll probably never be 100% normal again, but it's looking like it's going to be at least 95% is what's going to be reached there, so... compared to, like, you know... When I left that message to you guys, that like, hey, look, I'm probably not going to be streaming for a while. It was looking like it was going to be, you know, weeks and weeks of, you know, bad shit going down, and now it's looking like maybe, you know, maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, like it's, and then he's, you know, back home and everything, so. Hey. I mean, I'll take it. Yeah, like, he's not going to be able to drive anymore, which does suck. But, oh well. I mean, hey, he's alive. That's what matters, right? Oh yeah, there's headphones. We'll leave the cricket bat there. There's a surprisingly high number of cricket bats in Kentucky here. Dump those there. Okay. All right. Rain boots. How do those compare to the military boots? So these actually do seem better in certain ways. So we don't need insulation. Okay, yeah, that house was chock full of stuff, so... We'll just eat all that beef jerky right now. But yeah, so it's yeah, it's good news all around, and gotta say, I figured, hey, he's doing so good, I can just go back to streaming as per normal, and yeah, gotta say, I like that almost dying there. I'm like, yeah, I guess my concentration's just not here, and oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, Phil, he had a minor stroke, and it's pretty scary, and that led to an absentia or absence seizure, which is or at least what they think is an absence seizure. Because, like, here's the other thing. Like, they've given him some CT scan or MRIs and a CT scan and stuff like that, and it's like he hasn't like presented with actual strokes, but they gave him the stroke medicine, and he all of a sudden, like, the blood clot busting stuff, and then he gets better, like, within, you know, a couple hours. So they're like, okay, well, the fact that the treatment worked means it was probably this, even though we can't specifically spot this thing. And yeah. So yeah, you know, scary stuff, but ooh, Keytar. Yeah, I think he's right there. Because that doesn't have any windows on it. Yeah. Yeah, I remember you you saying that you had strokes before and stuff, and gotta ask, is any advice? You know, like, is there any, oh, well, this really helped me, that really helped me? We were thinking he'd have to do physio and stuff, but that's seeming less and less likely. Well, I mean, of course he's going to have to do it, but just, it's not looking like it's... Let's drink some toilet water, like a dog. All right, there we go. Fitness contraption. Okay, so it's a bench press. We already have one of those, so put it back there. Do everything the doctors recommend, okay. Like, these aren't suggestions. And, so the zombie is inside here, okay. Sweet. keep the battery, I guess, for now. Okay, yeah. I mean, probably the hardest thing we're gonna have to try to get him to do is quit smoking finally, because I mean, like, it's not for sure cigarettes cause this, but it's like, what, you increase your odds of having a stroke by like 4 times by being a smoker. And I'm like, yeah, that... You're a betting man, you should put all your money on that. Like, that's best odds you can get. Alright, best odds you're gonna get. So that's those 3 houses. Yeah, it goes up to there. So we got those looted. I guess the fog's gone, so we can go kill some zombies again. Yeah. Yeah, it is strongly looking like he's not going to have to relearn stuff. Like, it was very, I want to say, comparatively minor. So, I mean, I hope it's not that, but, you know, the absence seizure part of it was like, I mean, you guys, I can't tell you how, like, fucking scary it was to see him there trying to use the fork as a remote control. So it's like, you know, you're sitting there and you're like, holy shit, that's like off your rocker, kind of. Like, you're in a really, really bad spot there, right? It's just all I was thinking. And, especially because, like, you know, I kind of told the story earlier of, like, what exactly had happened there. But, yeah, my dad just kept saying, oh, no, I'm fine. I'm going to get up and grab some supper now. And then he'd sit there in the chair like he was about to get up. And then just sit there. And we were like, are you going to get up? Oh, yeah, I'm going to get up and have some supper. Okay. And, like, he'd say it, like, articulate, like, nothing, like, slow, like, realizing, hey, what I'm saying isn't making sense with my actions. But, yeah, near as I could tell, it was like, it's like, you know, imagine you try to boot up a program on the computer and it's just, yeah, loading. 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 And you're like, are you gonna load up? Well, yeah, I'm loading. It says loading. Like, don't you see the screen? It's loading. And then it just doesn't load up. Where's the other bike? Somewhere around here, isn't it? Oh man, we're gonna have to wait for the bodies to decompose to be able to spot it. Anyway. And then, yeah, when he was in the hospital that night and kept being like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get up and walk over there. And it's like, well, you can't get up and walk over there. Okay. And then, like, 2 minutes later, you know, yeah, I'm gonna get up and walk over there. It's like, we just talked about that. You can't actually do that right now. And, yeah. And, just all of a sudden have no memory of it. But, like, yeah, now he is actually, you know, apparently walking around and stuff, and yeah, he's gone from being, you know, in the emergency room to being in the, like, high observation neurological area to, now he's kind of in his own room. But it's like, he doesn't require 24/7 observation anymore. Awesome. We'll call that a big win. Well, you know, and it kind of gives me an appreciation for what they're doing there with Mitch McConnell. The other thing was, like, we found, like, telling him, no, you can't do this was, like, almost no help. It was like we had to tell him what to do. And then oh, okay. And then he'd do that for a bit. And, then kind of go back. So, like, you know, I'm not sure you guys have seen the recent videos of Mitch McConnell just, you know, middle of press conference, just quits talking and has that weird deer in headlights kind of look. But then they're like, okay, yeah, we're going to go over this way now. And they, oh, yeah, we're going to go over that way. But, I mean, the fact that they aren't willing to say, hey, look, these are absence seizures from when he knocked himself on the head there and had some scar tissue on the brain. They're just like, oh, no, everything's fine. Let's act like this is all normal. And, yeah. But it's like realizing, like, this is kind of the scenario that you know, my dad's in now, where it was weird because it wasn't like that. It would be like, imagine Mitch McConnell in the middle of the press conference just keeps, you know, saying things like that make sense, but that are wrong for the context. Like, it would be like he gets up there and is like, you know, Barack Obama's the worst president ever, which is like some stuff he might say, you know. And then they'd be like, okay, but Joe Biden's the president. Yeah, but Barack Obama is the worst president ever, and we need to stop him in the next election. They'd be like, okay, well, that's great and all, but Joe Biden's the president, and, you know. So. Yeah, well, apparently those are what are called absence seizures, which are more common in like, children with seizures, because, like, okay, there's the grand mal seizures, which is the whole twitching thing, biting their tongue, you know, like the typical kind of seizure that you think of when you think seizures. But then there's absence seizures, which is where somebody will be, like, mid-conversation, and it's like their whole, they just pause. Like, it's like they're not there. It's like somebody put them on pause. And you see that kind of happen with Mitch McConnell there, where he'll be, you know, middle of everything and then just pause. And, yeah. And that's what it's like. Now, it's scar tissue on the brain. And in this case, my dad's case, it's likely a minor stroke gave him some minor scar tissue on part of the brain that's going to cause absence seizures possibly in the future and stuff. And, yeah. So it's the way it is, and, deal with it. Okay, so we've actually cleared out the grocery store now. At least for now. I'm sure some can walk in the back here and stuff. Oh, okay. Might be able to get these cigarettes. Anyway, so yeah, it's just... And it's like that's life, and you gotta deal with it and pull through. Anyway. Yeah, so it's like, you know, for me, I'm at the age where myself and, you know, my friends from growing up, it's like, oh geez, over the last 2 or 3 years, we've, like, the kids I grew up with on this, like, you know, on my block here and stuff, couple of their mothers died, I want to say 2. Other friends of mine I met in university, they've, you know, it's a regular thing now where a friend of mine loses a parent every year, at least one, sometimes, you know, 2 or 3, and yeah, it's sucks, but that's life, and it's weird kind of realizing like the kind of stages in life you reach where it's just this becomes a common occurrence. And you know, my parents are at the point where it's almost like, well, now they're going to start just losing friends, like 2 or 3 a year, to, you know, various things, and you know, that's just kind of a stage of life. And it's crazy. I'm just, you know, like when my mom was sick the 7 or 8 years ago there with diverticulitis, and you know, she went in for this one surgery where they, like, what they usually do with this is they'll go into somebody's body and cut out the offending part of the intestine, because it's the intestines have gotten infected and swollen up, and if they don't respond to medication, this is what they have to do, because otherwise you just simply can't eat and will eventually die as a result of this. So if they can't do that, then they'll, you know, go in, they'll remove part of the body, or part of the stomach there, and they'll give you it's not a colostomy bag, because that's like a different part of the stomach, but I want to say a stoma is what it's called, or something like that. Anyway, and so it's like it bypasses part of your digestive system, and you'll eat and it'll go through the upper intestines, and then oops, I'm hitting the wrong buttons here. And then you digest it and it comes out in a bag, and then you gotta get rid of it. Yeah, that's exactly right, buddy Oates. You know, you go from weddings to funerals, and yeah, it's harsh. But yeah, anyway, so she was going in for this surgery, and you know, they were like, hey, we can't actually remove part of her intestine right now, she's too sick. So what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to go in there, and we're gonna have to put on this bag, and you know, she's got some blood clots in her lungs and stuff from not moving much over the last while, so this is pretty risky and everything. And it was, you know, I want to say like a 1 out of 4 chance she ain't waking up, and now we're gonna do this. And anyway, it's pretty scary, and yeah, as you can imagine. So my sister and I were like waiting there, and actually we were supposed to see the Book of Mormon that night, because it was coming through town, and we bought tickets like months in advance. You know, big fans of Matt Stone and Trey Parker, and we were all like, yeah, we're gonna go do this thing. And yeah, then this is happening the same night. It's pretty sudden how it was like, hey, they're doing this now, because it's got to be done now, because they can't wait anymore, because she can't eat food, and she you know, she'll slowly starve to death if we don't do something right now. And anyway, they yeah, we were sitting in like the waiting room after surgery, waiting for the doctor to come in, and you know, when he walked in, like, first thing, like, just, oh, she's fine, and we're like, okay, good, she's, oh, and you know, this is after waiting about 2.5, 3 hours or whatever. And yeah, I just remember being like, holy shit, I still have a mom. That's so awesome. And just being like, hey, I don't have to deal with, I mean, you know, it's this thing where, you know, we're all gonna have to deal with that shit if I guess we're lucky in life, and, you know, our parents died before us, which is kind of weird to say that, hey, lucky in life, because that happens. But I'm just glad I haven't had to deal with that yet. With all the adversity in life that somebody can deal with, that's some of that shit I mean, nobody ever wants to deal with it, but you might end up having to sometime, right? And well, I mean, if you're lucky in life, you know, or they're lucky, I guess they get to outlive their kids. And yeah, it's there's a philosopher that's More. I forget his first name. Not St. Thomas More, but different philosopher. Anyway, he came up with this theory because, like, there's Descartes' "I think, therefore I am," which is "I am, I exist," which is one of the few claims that must be true of you as from your subjective reality, because you could be, you know, in the Matrix or whatever, and everything could be fake around you. But Moore came up with a different kind of philosophy around this, where he talked about a reflective reality. And the way he put it was like, how do you know you have hands? Well, because you have hands. That's how you know you have hands. You've always had hands. In fact, you can't imagine what the world would be like without having hands. So that's how you know you have hands. Now, does that mean you necessarily have hands? No, but you know you have hands because you've always had hands. Now, what that reflective reality is like, you know, with particularly parents, is, I mean, for me, I've always had a mom and dad. I have no idea what life is like without a mom and dad. Even if they weren't in the room or anything, it's like, hey, they still exist, they're around. I have them. And I mean, I know some people aren't in that situation, and it sucks, but you know, for me, I've always known that, and I have a lack of a reflective reality without them. And when, yeah, let's have another smoke, why not? When in life, no, St. Thomas More, actually, he's a different philosopher. It might be actually Thomas More, but not St. Thomas More. Yeah, he, the point of it is that the loss of that is far greater, because you have no idea what reality is like without them. Like, you have never known reality without them. So it's one of those things that that just hits different, because you can't imagine the world without them. Like, truly imagine it until it's there, and then you have to deal with it. So, all to say, I'm so glad I don't have to deal with that yet. Knowing, unfortunately, sometime in life, man, there's a lot of fogging. Unfortunately, I'm sometime in life probably gonna have to deal with that. And yeah. So, I mean, you can argue the same thing happens for, like, say, older siblings also, where you don't know what life is like without them existing. Oh, actually. Oh, we shouldn't stop here in the middle of the street. Do this. Just scared a zombie's gonna come up, and I can't see them because of the fog. But, okay. Keep an ear out. Okay, so hey, we're done that. And we want 1, 2, 3. So. Yeah, it might be Thomas More. This is like, you know, there's what I want to say, there's John Stuart Mills and John Mills for philosophers. Ah! So we really shouldn't have looked at that map, huh? Yeah, walk over to the bike and walk over here. So we'll just finish looting these houses here. Hey, you know, I was watching this Mick the Vegan video yesterday, and he does a lot of you know, vegan content, hence the name, right? But yeah, he was talking about this one woman who was a carnivore dieter, who you know, had been on the carnivore, like, keto diet for like a couple of years, and then had gone from that to yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man. Well, it's devastating losing people when they're young and stuff like that. Like, you know, like it's. Well, here I'll finish off the Mick the Vegan thing. Anyway, so yeah, this woman she had she was on the carnivore diet or whatever, and anyway she ended up having a stroke. Realized she was having a stroke mid workout, and you know, managed to get help before like really bad stuff went down. And anyway, so she's like, so yeah, the doctors recommended all this stuff, and you know, maybe my carnivore diet caused it due to high LDL cholesterol, which is why you're not supposed to eat just meat, is because it completely messes with your cholesterol, particularly if you're, you know, not an Inuk person, because yeah, the people who, you know, live way up north, their bodies don't enter ketosis, and they're able to better deal with eating solely meat, because that's what they've had to live on for, you know, generation after generation. Anyway, so she was like, so the doctor recommended all this stuff, but then I found this other doctor on YouTube, and he said don't do that, so I'm not doing that anymore. I'm like, oh my, and like, Mick the Vegan guy was pointing this out, like, what are you talking about? Like, some guy on YouTube said don't follow your doctor's advice after you've had a stroke? The same person that gave you the advice that led you to the stroke? And you're like, yeah, you know what? I like what this guy says better, so I'm going to follow that instead. And, yeah. It's just kind of craziness. Anyway, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that they do. And, anyway, yeah, it's, you know, when I was, 20, my best friend killed himself, and, yeah, you know, like, I was living in Vancouver at the time. He was still in Saskatoon, and, yeah, it was pretty devastating. But, yeah, his family, his parents and sister never really recovered from it. In the end, they just, I mean, it's not like I was like expecting like, oh, they'll you know, recover and be fine or anything, but you think, you know, some things would kind of go back to normal-ish, but no, it just never did. And yeah, man, it's devastating to see what happened to them. And I mean, I was in pretty bad shape there too, but orange light bulb, that's new. But yeah, that was a big tragedy in my young life. And yeah, just seeing how it damaged them was really quite profound. And then 2 years later, another really good friend of mine killed himself, and that really sucked. It was like, I didn't think this shit could happen twice. And then, you know, by 21, it was weird. Like, for my high school class, there was about 220 of us, or 225, something like that. And within, like, 3 years after high school, we had, I think 4 deaths of people. Like, I mean, that's, you know, talking to other people, that's astronomically high for, like, you know, people under 20 out of, you know, 200 of us. What the hell are these dead bodies doing? Okay. So there aren't usually dead bodies in here like this. Anyway, yeah, man, like, one of the guys from my high school wasn't really a friend of mine. I mean, I knew him, but, you know, maybe spoke, you know, 2 words to him the whole time. He ended up fucking skiing off a cliff and dying. He went to the out-of-bounds area in Banff, and the ski marshal people or whatever, they tried to stop him and his friend from going, and they managed to get his friend, but he was, no, I'm going to the fresh powder in the off-bounds area, and I went skiing down there, and they found his body like a week later, that he'd fallen off a cliff and died. And I'm like, holy shit, that's a fucking crazy way to go. And I mean, it's weird because it's like, you know, you think about this, it's like, no, that's really the kind of shit that only happens in movies, right? Like, I mean, people don't actually die that way. And no. He said, I'm gonna go skiing in the out of bounds area, and died. Another friend of mine, he died in a workplace accident. He had some serious problems though. I mean, we spoke like a couple times, but last conversation I had with him was breaking up a fight between him and a friend of mine where he just like went and attacked him. Anyway, and then he was away from school for a while and then came back and apparently had schizophrenia. And it's weird. He'd walk around saying, you know, man, I got these cheese boogers, man. Which is, if you ever see Menace to Society, there's a character in that who's like a crackhead who's trying to trade cheeseburgers for crack, or cheeseburgers for heroin. And keeps saying, I got these cheeseburgers, and it's a pretty famous scene. Anyway, yeah, it was pretty random him dying that way. Just, he was working construction, and I guess he fell, and that was that. Another friend of mine, well, he was more friends of mine than my friend. He got blown up in Afghanistan, so that was pretty epic. He's training Afghani troops and walked past an IED, and they blew him up. Left behind a wife and kid and stuff. Like, it's pretty horrendous. Pretty big news here. So I want to say Canada lost like almost 200 people there, and yeah, it's weird. Like, this is all just, you know, the high school class and people who went from that. And anyway, talk about some pretty depressing shit on a Sunday or Saturday morning here. Well, killing zombies in the zombie apocalypse. Needless to say, keep on keeping on, you guys. We got one more house here. And we've looted all the houses in East, East March Ridge. Oh, and needless to say, what I've gotten for myself immediately out of this is, one, I really got to start working out again. Because, yeah, I mean, it's, you know, once you lose your health, that's something no money can buy and can't be replaced. And for me, I just remember being like, damn, I was in really, really good shape at one point by comparison to how I am now. And kind of let myself go a bit. And I mean, part of it was, I mean, kind of had to accept depression and stuff like that. I don't know, for me, I had some bizarre mental health issues about 2019, right before the pandemic. The pandemic did not help, but yeah, I basically, I'd walk out of my condo at the time, and I'd think, okay, lock the door. I go over to the elevator, hit the button, like, did I lock the door? Walk back, check. Yeah, I locked the door. Walk back to the elevator. But did you lock the door? Did you, like, it got to the point where I would, like, I mean, the door was all, like, 5 steps away, but I kept having to go back and check it. Like, I'd never really experienced anything like this before, where it was like, no, you should check your door again. I mean, the elevator's not here yet. You got a few minutes. You can go check it. And I'd Like, okay, yeah, I'll go check the door again, brain. Thanks for reminding me. And then I go check it, and I mean, it would usually be about the third or fourth time I'm like, what the hell am I doing? This is very, very bizarre. That's a type of agoraphobia that develops as a result of anxiety or whatever. And yeah, so that was one. Not sure why I'm bringing that up exactly, but it's like you just all of a sudden something's happened, and you know, life's different in ways that it shouldn't be, or like you feel like it shouldn't be. And so it's a weird thing, like you know, if you ever think, oh geez, did I leave the stove on, or did I lock the door or something? It's like, it was like that, but like an obsessive like compulsion, where it's like, no, I gotta go check and stuff, and I mean, frankly, I ended up missing a couple buses because I was like, I mean, there was times where I'd get downstairs out of the condo and be like, I gotta go check and see if I locked the door. I'm like, no, you checked it 3 times. It's like, oh yeah, but you should check again. And I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Like, and it was like to the point where I'm like, no, I know the door is locked, but I just had this absolute need to go check it again. And, I mean, I'm lucky that, like, you know, for me, that's when I said, okay, yeah, I need help here, and, you know, started therapy and stuff, where I'm like, because I'm like, if you don't start therapy, like, the longer you let it go, the worse it's gonna get. I mean, I was already kind of a homebody, so, for that, you know, we can't kill zombies in this, like, we're just gonna get surrounded and killed if we do this, so. And maybe what we'll try to do is we'll try to bring the bus around to drop off a generator finally. Yeah. I mean, and like, it came out of nowhere. I mean, there've been times where I thought, hey, I forgot to lock the door before, but it was just like this was different, and it was like a part of my brain knew how illogical and crazy this was to be doing this. But like another part of my brain was like, look, just do it and then you won't think about it anymore. And then I go do it and I'd still be like, did I lock the door? And I mean, apparently, yeah, like that's one of the opening signs of somebody who's going to be like, yeah, I didn't leave my house for 3 years. I'd be like, why not? Well, I wasn't sure if I'd lock the door or not. And I'd be like, well, that sounds absolutely insane. But that's where that would have gone. And, you know, you got to figure out where these thoughts are coming from and what exactly happened. And, yeah. Yeah, it's, it's like, you know, I had friends of mine on Facebook who, you know, had severe depression and stuff, was like, you know, remember to ask for help when you need it and stuff. And it's like, oh yeah, this is a really good message. Ask for help when you need it. But no, it really is. I mean, life's improved in many other ways since then. Kind of. I mean, it wasn't like a linear path of like, oh, I went to therapy and then everything was just better all of a sudden. But, yeah, I mean, it's... The way to liken it is this, like, okay, now imagine you're like 5 years old and somebody came up and hit you in the head with a pipe wrench, or hit you in the leg with a pipe wrench, right? And so you're limping around and limping and limping and limping. And you've been limping your whole life, so you're just used to that. And then somebody's like, you know, you should probably see some kind of therapist for that. Most people are like, yeah, you know what, that sounds reasonable. I'm not supposed to be limping around and stuff like that. And you gotta realize, like, normal therapy is like that. Like, it's... Bad stuff happens in life, and, I mean, largely as society, we're not taught properly how to deal with it. Okay, we're gonna bring... Actually, maybe we should bring the other car over and leave the bus there. Yeah, we're gonna leave the bus there. We're gonna go grab the little mini car. I'll bring it over. Because it's safer to leave this bus here. We got all of our stuff here now. And anyway, but it's like, you know, so imagine you had some, I guess, bad intrusive thought when you were a kid, like, I'm not good enough for whatever fucking reason. Or maybe I am great at absolutely everything. You know, like, that could be the same, can lead to the same kind of damage in life. But the question is, are you living the life you want to live? And, if the answer's no, then, well, figure out how to solve that, and if you keep coming up with weird answers, then, you know, maybe talking to somebody about it is a great idea. But, yeah, anyway, just accept that, hey, you know, there's certain injuries that happen in life, and they gotta be dealt with, one way or the other, and, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I am largely fine now. I mean, one of the reasons I bring this up is, okay, when we were going to visit my dad at the hospital, it was, well, did you lock the door? Was, one thing, you know, my mom asked me there, and I was like, and it like, flooded all this stuff back where I'm like, well, I don't know, did I should go check the door. And, like, by then, we're already in the Uber on the way there, and I'm like, no, you can't do anything about it now. You lock the door, and I'm like, trying to remember, I'm like, yeah, I've got the clear memory of locking the door and then trying to push it open, to see if it is locked or not. No, I locked the door, but it was like I was back there and like, oh man, I gotta check to see if I locked the door again, and oh shit, we need to drop some spears here, don't we? And actually, I guess we'll bring this over to the gas station and just drop it off there, like this thing. Maybe we should drop this off in front of the dorm. Yeah, okay, yeah, we'll drop that off in front of the dorm. And we'll, leave our spears here for now. Leave our speed loaders. We need to bring this down below 20 here, so. Oh, wait, there we go, actually. Okay, what the fuck? Oh, no, we have... Why does it only weigh 1 pound? Okay, well... Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I feel, like, largely fine. It's just recognizing, you know, I can go back there and, like... I'm not sure if you've ever seen A Beautiful Mind, any of you guys, but, it's about John Nash and his schizophrenia and stuff like that. They changed the story, like, largely because, like, he didn't think he was stopping communism. He thought he was stopping the Jews. Because, yeah, like, he became paranoid schizophrenic and he created he won a Nobel Prize for economics and stuff like that. And, very much kind of changed the world. Jeez, this frame rate is terrible. You know what? We're not going to be able to have this guy go over there. It's not currently. We're going to have to spin around here. South. Yeah. Yeah, anyway. But there's that bit where it's towards the end where he's like, God, I wish I could just talk to them again. And like he keeps seeing these people he's hallucinated exist. And like it's like I desperately want to talk to them again. And it's like understanding like I'm always going to have this bizarre urge to be like, oh yeah, let's check the door again. Let's check the door. And, you know, it'll turn into other things the longer I let it linger, if I let it linger. I'm just going to run you over. What did he have through his body there? That's a spear. Okay, well, whatever now. Just leave you with that. Anyway, and yeah, you know, my mind's always going to be tempted to go there and basically go back to revert to, you know, bad patterns of thought. Now, I mean, you know, people with, like, say, depression, for example, like, your mind's going to be like at times like, oh, well, maybe it's going to give you excuses to let your depression kind of take over. Like, oh yeah, you should just stay in bed today. You know, stay in bed, you'll be fine. Stay in bed, just stay in bed, and, you know, stuff like that. And it's sort of like you have to fight those urges as much as possible. Where it's like, hey, you know, I got to figure out something, you know, somewhat productive to do. Some people might have the option opposite, where it's like, well, if I'm not doing something productive, then I'm useless and I should feel like crap. And it's like, okay, well, then you have to figure out a way to, you know, make yourself, allow yourself to not do anything. And, I'm just going to quickly do this here. Put this in both hands. Anyway. Yeah, Bianca, yeah, that is true, but the way I'm putting it is like, if you know you're an alcoholic, you just got to stay away from alcohol, and you got to avoid, you know, you got to avoid situations, and it's part of it for me is like just figuring out that, you know, there's certain situations where I have to try to avoid, like, oh man, wish that was one more over. I'll pick that up, put one more over. Oh, I'm like, what the hell is going on here? And it's the generator range thing, right? I'm like, why is everything getting all red? Is there some incredible new thing that's going to happen? And yeah, that's, anyway. So we'll connect that generator. Yeah, and I mean, so like we can't control the emotions, but we can learn about ourselves and try to avoid those triggers. And for me, it's, yeah, trying to avoid those triggers. And like, you know, when I'm in a stress situation, my brain's going to say, hey, you know what's a really comfortable thing to do is go back to these old, you know, thought patterns and things, and let that take over. And it's going to be tempting, kind of like the way John Nash put it, is like, damn, I wish I could just have conversations with these hallucinations again. But, you know, I can't. There's actually a great video on YouTube of a girl who's got schizophrenia, and she's describing what it's like, and she sees Pennywise the clown from Stephen King's It, and she, like, sees him everywhere, and, like, it's weird when she's being interviewed, because she's, like, looking straight forward while talking to the interviewer. So, like, you know, this is my hallucination, is that he's there, and he's coming to get me, and she said the one thing she has to do is, she can't, like, whenever she tells people about this, they're always like, really? Pennywise the clown's around? Where is he right now? And she's like, I can't tell people that, because if they in any way, like, point at him or be like, so he's right here, they start becoming part of the fantasy, and I lose touch with reality. And I'm like, geez, that would be, you know, something crazy to happen. But that's, you know, her, I guess, positive symptom of schizophrenia is that she sees this hallucination everywhere. And, you know, so it's like she just, you know, she tries to be open about it, like, this is what it's like having this illness. And, I guess for me, I mean, I'm told it's anxiety is what this is. It's an anxiety-based thing, because it's not OCD or anything like that. Even though it kind of manifests in a similar manner. But, I mean, like, you'll see, like, have you ever seen the Hoarders show of, like, people hoarding stuff? That's, like, a form of anxiety where it's like, oh, well, I can't throw this out. I might need it someday. It's like, it's a newspaper from 1974. When the hell are you going to need a newspaper from 1974? Like, but what if I want to read it and read about the stories? And it's, you know, they'll just keep saying, oh, no, I'm really going to use this someday. And this one we'll leave up north, I think. Actually, how much room is left in this? You know, we'll take this one back. Leave the other one there. We'll grab a gas can, we'll go fill up the generator so we can actually use it if we want. Well, we won't actually turn it on yet. Anyway, but yeah, so like, you know, when you run into people who've, you know, done hoarding, I mean, that's what it's like, is that, well, they can't throw it out because they'll need it someday, and it's like, there'll be ridiculous items. I'm not sure if you ever watched the show, but there was one with this woman who was hoarding food. And she got some eggs for her birthday. They're like, when was your birthday? 10 months ago. Well, we should throw these eggs out. She's like, oh, well, they look so pretty, I can't eat them, but I'd like to keep them. And it's like, it's a carton of eggs. Yeah. Yeah, one thing that, you know, being more open about my own kind of mental health struggles has taught me is just how many people have, you know, various issues that, yeah, now I gotta say, frankly, if you're here watching the stream, you probably have some form of social anxiety or something like that. Like, it's, this gives a great kind of outlet to have social interactions without the things that will typically trigger anxiety and stuff. So it's a lot of people that both stream and shit, where are we gonna take this? Oh yeah, we're gonna grab some gas, right? You know, both you know, stream and watch streams typically have social anxiety. It's Glink, a YouTuber. He did a big video on like streaming and loneliness and stuff like that. And, you know, it allows you to develop social, like, parasocial relationships with people. But you still have, I mean, I guess the term for it would be like a form of cyclical distance. Cyclical distance is a concept from the philosophy of beauty, and art, that, it's the distance between the art object and the person experiencing the art. So it's weird because it's like you can feel emotions that way. Like you can read a book or watch a movie and be brought to tears by it and feel like very attached to a character in it and understand more about ourselves and stuff. But at the same time, if you actually believe like if you believe the character in this game is a real character that like exists beyond this game or something, then at that point it's like, well, you're crazy. But I mean, for me, I already feel attached to this character here, and I'd be upset if he died, even though it's a fictional being. And yeah. Anyway, but it's like it allows you to create a level of this kind of cyclical distance kind of thing that allows, basically allows you to get past some of your body's barriers when it comes to things. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, true. I mean, I get some of that. It's not like, okay, like the thing about mental illness is like we all get some of this, but with people who it's mentally ill, it's that it actually affects their quality of life. And so I do get a bit of that, but it's not to the point of it affecting my quality of life. At least in you know, dramatic and kind of overt ways. But yeah, if it's like, well, I'm not going to go to this party because everybody there is going to hate me and stuff. I mean, at that point, yeah, at that point it's social anxiety, and you're not socializing in a way that you normally would or would like to, because of this illness kind of revving up. And yeah, you know, more power to you, and good luck dealing with that. And for what it's worth, Bianca, I like you. I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad all you guys are here. put this gas in. I'll come back, hook that up, and we'll kill those zombies around there. Okay, you should never do this, but we're going to smoke next to these gas pumps with a gas can in our hands. Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, it's hard, and, you know, it'll hit you time to time, and for me, it's particularly when I'm stressed, and yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, and it's this bizarre belief that you don't matter to anybody. Actually, this one friend of mine, he's, I mean, frankly, he's homeless, and I'm not even sure if he's still alive. But, he had a severe schizotypal paranoia, which, there's, like, you know, several types of kind of schizoaffective disorders. Anyway, there's schizotypal, schizoid, and anyway, so he was schizotypal in that he thought people were like talking about him all the time and you know, really were against him and all this stuff. And it's like, I mean, it wasn't, you know, classic paranoia. Who I actually used to work with a guy with that, and geez, it was annoying to talk to him. But, what the fuck? How'd you miss that guy twice? Anyway, because he'd be insisting that, like, you know, we're working at a job that pays, like, you know, $15 an hour, you know, so, like, anyway, and he was like, you know, this person was put here to watch me. I'm like, dude, you work near minimum wage. Like, who's gonna, like, come here and watch you? Like, that's a ridiculous thought, but, I mean, he had severe paranoia. Anyway, but, that friend of mine was schizotypal. He was, like, insisting that people were talking about him, and I had to tell him, like, look, dude, I hate to put it this way, but you're not important enough for us to talk about you. We don't care about you. What you do doesn't matter to us to any point where we'd actually discuss you. Now, of course, the irony here of, you know, talking about him with you guys, it's not lost on me. But it was like, that's, I mean, I hope I helped him and told him some stuff he needed to hear. But he really thought, like, it's like this, I mean, on Reddit they call it, am I the main character? There's a whole group about that. But it's like, oh yeah, I'm the main character. Like, people are really, you know, concerned with my thoughts and feelings on this. And I'm like, dude, have you not talked to people? Most people don't give a shit about, you know, what your thoughts and feelings are about anything, or at least my thoughts and feelings. And it's sort of like, you know, that thought, that, you know, bad thought seems to be the inverse of his bad thought, which was, oh yeah, everybody really cares about what I have to say about this. Talks about issues that I have all the time. And it's like, dude, nobody cares that, like you aren't important enough for us to just decide, okay, you know what, rather than talking about anything else in the world, we're going to discuss you right now. And have that be a constant thing. Anyway, it was kind of bizarre. I was trying to tell him, like, hey, look, you don't matter enough for us to talk about like this. You know, like, what world do you live on? Like, do you talk about other people like this all the time and just think about, oh, what are they up to? Well, no, you don't obsessively think about other people. Well, why would you think people think that way about you? And anyway. So anyway, I hope I helped him there, but, you know, he eventually became homeless, and yeah, anyway, hey, to mole middle finger. man. We're gonna have to do this. Yeah, I'm actually gonna have to go pretty quick here. So it was like 12 p.m. my time, hard stop, no matter what, and close to that. I know that bike is somewhere here, but it's black and, you know, mixed in with the corpses, so I've got no idea if we can find it anywhere. So we'll just go up this way and grab the yellow bike that's way up here. Anyway, yeah, man, I feel kind of bad for that guy, but it was like, last time I was going to hang out with him, I was like, it felt like I was doing a chore to, you know, be around somebody that I didn't even really want to be around. Largely due to my own issues with friends of mine, you know, dying and stuff. Okay, so I think we still have the flashlight out here. Anyway. Yeah. Yeah, there was a show called Weird Science. There was a movie, but they did a TV show based on it. Anyway, there's a bit where, this guy wants to, you know, be with this girl, and, so they're like, we need help, and anyway, so they've got this computer program, and she can, you know, make things happen, and, anyway, she can, like, do magical things. So they make Einstein's brain, to help her figure out help him out to figure out how to connect to this really smart girl that he wants to go date. And, there's this thing that, I mean, it was a pretty terrible show, but there's this thing that Einstein's brain, you know, said that is kind of a line that stuck with me that I saw when I was a kid. It's, you know, out of the entire universe, we're on one planet that's out of, like, 10 in our solar system. You're one being on this planet out of, you know, billions and billions of different beings. You know, out of this whole universe, there's trillions of galaxies, which each have trillions of stars, which each have trillions of planets. There's nothing you can do that will ever actually matter. And it's like, this seems like kind of an empty thought of like, you know, like, well, so what, does nothing really matter, you know, nihilist style? It's like, no, it's just let yourself be, you know, do what you want to do and everything, like, because, you know, truly it doesn't matter. You know, there's not going to be, basically, we put all these big consequences on our actions, like, God, if I do that, then this will happen, and, you know, we let these kind of become limiting beliefs in our life. But realizing that, you know, nothing we ever say or do will ever truly matter. You know, every person you know and love and care about, every person you've ever talked to will eventually one day die. It's part of it is kind of depressing, but it's also kind of liberating that, you know, just go out and be yourself, don't worry about things, because, hey, it doesn't matter. And, I mean, you can really take it, you know, both ways of like, oh, geez, you know, this feels, you know, terrible because, geez, why are we red and yellow? Anyway, let's get a look at the info here. See how many zombies we killed today. So we killed almost 1,000, so that's not too bad. But yeah, it's, I mean, yeah, for some people that same thought is hopeless, but for others that same thought is liberating, and yeah. Anyway, thanks for showing up to him, old middle finger, but unfortunately I'm gonna have to end the stream now. I was gonna end it at 12 exactly, but it's like, hey, that's 9 minutes from now. Can't really start the next day yet. Well, here, we'll sleep and stuff and get that ready. All the bullets are full. Oh, and it's finally raining, so we'll get to use our rainwater barrel that we set up here. Awesome. Anyway, so yeah, you know, thanks for being here while I stream, you guys, and really appreciate you guys, you know, existing. As much as nothing in the universe may matter, you guys matter to me, so thank you very much, and thanks for listening to me and letting me vent a bit. I mean, I know, like, you know, me streaming is supposed to be, you know, I hope it's entertaining for you guys. I hope it's informative and that you know, get something out of it. But at the end of the day, I am really just, you know, I'm just some guy who's streaming video games and being just some guy. Have, you know, real life with real problems and anyway, so I hope to stream a bit again tomorrow and kind of ease back into it. It's not going to be the typical kind of 6 to 8 hour streams that I normally do, at least for a bit, because I mean mentally I'm just not there right now. And I mean, I thought like, oh well, I'll stream it, I'll get right into it, I'll get into the groove and everything. And I mean, it kind of happened later on, but like for the first hour here, I'm not sure if you like you guys were here, some of you, and it wasn't. I hope that I can objectively judge myself to know enough that I wasn't really myself there, where it was like, yeah, I'm distracted, and you know, I try to bring quality to this stuff, and hopefully I'm able to do that. And one thing that I kind of got to accept is that, hey, I'm only human, and like, not every stream is going to be some, you know, Michelangelo level masterpiece, and you know, and yeah, so to be like, oh well, I can do this under any circumstance, any time. It's no, accept that you can't, and move on with things. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like I got like an hour and a half or so of like normal me here streaming, and yeah, so I hope I can kind of ease my way back into doing this, and yeah, so anyway, but yeah, I'm gonna go see my dad now and see how he's doing and see how much better he is since I last saw him. So yeah, I know, just see, I find the pressure helps me, and I feel like I need to, you know. Maybe that's just a intrusive thought coming in, and yeah, but needless to say, you know, call up your loved ones, tell them you love them, and yeah, thanks for being here, you guys. Really appreciate it, and yeah, I'll see you guys again hopefully tomorrow. So anyway, peace. Yeah, this is becoming kind of an awkward goodbye, so I'll just leave now. Anyway, so see you guys. Cheers. Bye.